Hi, Virgo. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for July of 2021. Well, this month, Virgo, your annual mop-up period begins. That's the last 30 days before your birthday, when the biggest changes usually take place. It's also a really great time to get your birthday reading this year to find out what's coming in the year so you can really hit the ground running. If you want that, there's a link for it in the YouTube description below. Well, there are a lot of reasons to relax and enjoy this July. First of all, Mercury retrograde is over. Woohoo! And secondly, both of these moons involve a lot of harmony and no stress, which is wonderful. Now, thirdly, Juno is still retrograde, but it's not involved with either moon. So that means that it's not going to be quite as emotional, although it's probably going to be, I think, the big deal of this month, and that is a relationship retrospection period. Now, for you, this relationship retrospection period is happening in the fourth house. Now, let me make just a tiny change to this so that we're not looking at more stuff than we have to. Okay. Now we need to look at a little bit more stuff.
Yeah.
There. Okay. So here's Juno retrograde sitting right here in your fourth house. And so Juno's relationship retrospection period, which you can find out a lot more about in our video about it in our playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. And you'll find that actually in the June playlist. And it's really about looking at our committed relationships and doing a little retrospective of them and asking ourselves, well, what does this relationship mean to me? And is there room for me to grow in it? And you'll be asking yourself that a lot relative to your relationships with the people that you're closest to in your home life. Probably a spouse or a live-in partner, or, that main person that is your partner in your home life. So Juno there in your fourth house is going to bring up a lot of family stuff. It might even bring up, if you are young and have never been in a committed partnership with anybody, it could bring up some stuff about your parents' marriage or whatever marriage there was for you to, see as a model when you were growing up. So a bunch of different ways that could play out. So Julia, I think you've got some news about Mercury, Venus, and Mars. What's that good stuff?
Yeah, well, there is some good stuff for sure, Jamie. And hey there, Virgo, because Mercury is out of its retrograde cycle, which is fabulous news. So by the very beginning of the month, Mercury is still in the sign of Gemini, which it also was in last month. So you can check out our last month's video to see a little bit more about what that may have felt like. But that was all happening in your 10th house and still continues a little bit into this month. So you may have spent a lot of time thinking, rethinking also too about your career. The 10th house represents your public reputation, what you're doing with your life purpose. So maybe you're thinking, am I in the right career? What's the next career I'd like to do? Or maybe you're even wondering, what project should I choose within this career? So a lot of thinking on the career front. And then Mercury moves into Cancer on July 11th, which is your 11th house. This is the house of groups. This is the house of friends. And Mercury is a pretty social planet. So, your social life might just kind of pick up a little bit more after July 11th, where you just want to connect with all your buddies. If you're a part of any group, like let's say a recovery program, a union, a professional association, even a gamer circle would totally count for that. And the 11th house also represents your long-term goals. So moving in from thinking about your career direction to other big goals in your life, like these are the goals that take a number of years to really reach fruition. Whether that's buying a home one day or whether that's saving up for a retirement, but your mind could be preoccupied with those matters for the rest of the month. Then Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and relationship, also starts the month in your 12th house. This is a very isolated house. And when Venus is in this house, she does tend to withdraw a little bit socially. If you do have a partner, you'll probably enjoy a little bit more time at home with them than kind of hitting the town. But then on July 21st, Venus is going to move into your first house of self. And this is a really lovely time, especially for all the single Virgos out there, because Venus is really going to bring a lot more beauty and attractiveness to your appearance. It's going to make you a lot more agreeable, help you do better first impressions on people. So a wonderful time to start dating or do anything to change your looks. And then Mars, the planet of action and activity, is pretty much the entire month in your 12th house. The very last day or two, it'll shift into the first. And we're probably going to cover that a lot more in next month's video. So definitely be aware of that. But for the majority of the month, Mars, that planet of action and activity, being in the 12th house means that you're going to feel like you're sort of hiding your light under a bushel because the 12th house is such an isolated, kind of hidden place. So this is a good transit if you have to do work on your own, like, you know, if you're working from home, just kind of by yourself in a room, or, you know, even if you're at the workplace, it'll probably be a lot easier to sort of work a little bit more independently than be a team player. And since Mars can represent our anger, you might be more inclined to sort of bottling things up and keeping it inside and not really expressing it. Maybe trying to maneuver a little bit more behind people's backs instead of being upfront with what you want to do. Just be cautious about that too, because the 12th house is also known as the house of self-undoing. So, you know, have some level of, you know, be a bit above or above reproach too in your actions towards other people as well.
Yeah, such good advice. Now, there are a couple of moons going on this month. There is a new moon happening in Cancer right here, which is your 11th house. That's happening on July 9th. We're calling this one random kindness because there's a lot of sweetness to this moon. There's a lot of harmony with it. There is a beautiful sextile to Vesta. There's also a lovely trine over here to Neptune, and even a sextile to Ceres. So this moon has a lot of sweetness to it, and it being in Cancer, which is the moon's favorite sign to be in because that's the sign where it's at home, I'm thinking of this as sort of pouring out the milk of human kindness. And in the video that we made about it, in our July news playlist, you'll find that we, you know, recommend some random acts of kindness. In your case, most particularly because this moon falls in the 11th house, which is friendships, do random nice things for your friends and notice how it comes right back to you. Not that you should do it in order to have it, you know, come back to you. That's not usually the best way to sow positive karma, but the more open-hearted you are about it, I think the more pleasure you take in it yourself, and the more likely it is that good things will just bounce right back at you. So that one's really sweet. And before I talk about the second moon, I just want to mention that Chiron is going retrograde on July 15th this month. And where's Chiron? In Aries right there. See the day before, not retrograde. And the day of the 15th, there it is, retrograde. You can tell by the little red RX symbol. And Chiron is the wounded healer. And we've made a video about this, describing how Chiron transits feel and how to handle them. And Chiron moving along through Aries is bringing, you know, all of us some lessons about how to assert ourselves in a balanced way. For you, this falls in the 8th house of intimacy and psychological depth. And so if you are having a Chiron transit this year to something specific in your chart, chances are very good that around the 15th, you're really going to feel this. And if that's so, you should definitely check out our other video about it in our July news playlist. So then on July 22nd, we have the second moon of the month. And this is a full moon, putting the sun in Leo and the moon I feel like this date is wrong. Yeah, it's July 23rd, but it's actually later in the day than this. So the moon is in Aquarius. It falls in the 6th house. Full moons, they tend to be times of high emotion, which is kind of, unusual when the moon is in Aquarius, because Aquarius is a cerebral, cool, rational air sign. And so why would that be a time of high emotion? Well, we're calling this one community support because the moon falling in Aquarius suggests that the very best place to find the nurture that you might be looking for is in your community, in your circle of friends. Now, this particular moon falls in the 6th house for you, specifically as Virgo. And that suggests that it may be the people that you feel the friendliest towards in the workplace that would be the right people to turn to and share with and relate with and commune with. This moon has a lot of harmony in it, and that's because it connects with Juno in a really sweet way. And so that's just, and Vesta too. Vesta's involved with both of this month's moons, and even Ceres is getting in on the game again. So this is the second really harmonious moon of the month. And I think it's going to feel pretty good to place yourself in community situations. And especially if any of those have to do with work or networking regarding work. That could be really, really sweet. Okay, well, I think that's what we have for you, Virgo. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, you should absolutely spread it all over your social media. Let everybody else know about our horoscopes, because we love it when you visit our little corner of the cosmos. You can find us at pandoraastrology.com, where there are horoscopes and a forecast, a services page with lots of different kinds of readings that you can get, and classes too. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.